Thanks. Appreciate everybody being here. We really excited about the game this week, getting the season kicked off. There's a lot of things that are different about our football program than have been around in the past. Most noticeably is the talent level that's on this football team. The two recruiting classes that we have here now have made a tremendous impact on our talent level. I think our skilled players across the board are really exceptional, especially on offense. I think we got a chance to be one of the better teams in the Sun Belt Conference offensively. We made some certain strides defensively also, so that makes us look like a different football team. We're much bigger, physically a bigger football team than what we were last year. All those freshmen that played, the Larry Roses, Cortland Busby, Stody Bradleys, all those guys are, 15, even 20 pounds heavier than they were last year. So we're a much more physical football team, I think, than what we were. And then the facilities that continue to improve here, what Mario Mocho, our new athletic director, has bought with the energy and enthusiasm and direction for a program has been outstanding. So these are exciting times for our football program, and look forward to getting started. So start with any questions you guys have.
Coach, other than a competitive game, hopefully a game that you can, like, you're trying to get a win, but, what do you want to see from Saturday for the first time, for first game out?
Well, the things that we have to improve on, Jason, to win football games, it's really simple, and it's not that many. Offensively, it's turnovers. We've got to protect the ball well, and we didn't do that last year. 34 turnovers, which was our Achilles heel offensively. Other things, we did really well offensively. We ran the ball well last year. We threw the ball pretty well, but the turnovers, just debilitated us. I think we can be a higher scoring offense than we were last year. 30-point mark, something I've talked about for a while, but just taking care of the football and playing physical on offense. And then it's the average yards per rush on defense is where we've got to get better. And obviously it's going to be a tremendous challenge against Florida being an SEC team, but you can still see that if we can play a more physical football game defensively than what we did last year and just look like a well-coached football team. And what we need to do, we're not going to go down there and beat Florida by 40 points. Nobody in the SEC is going to go out and beat Florida by 40 points. The way you win those games is you hang around, you fight, and you claw, and you scratch, and you get it in the fourth quarter when you're within striking distance, and then you have a chance. And that's what I'd like to see us do. If we're going to continue to be different as a football program, we're going to continue to look different and to play different and act different. That's the next step. We've got to play one of these games and get somebody into the fourth quarter and have a chance to win it.
Yeah, you're the offensive coordinator this year. Like, are these type of games that yourself you look forward to playing, maybe to see how you say you guys can match up with a team with SEC players and NFL players on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, I think any competitor you look forward to playing against the best teams in the country, and that's why you come to play college football. And I know. When we recruited a lot of these kids, they knew they were going to get to play Florida. They knew they were going to get to play LSU last year. So those are attractive things. And as a coach, those are exciting too. You're no different than the players. I think these are a great test. I think these really prepare your team well for the rest of the year. We're going to play a team with tremendous speed in Florida. We won't play a more talented football team the rest of the year than what we're getting ready to play. So if we can go out there and we can go toe-to-toe and stand with them, it's going to be a great test for us. It's going to be a great help for us. But it's also going to teach our players the speed of a game, the real speed of a game. It can make us better, help us to play faster.
Coach, would you describe this as an ideal season opener for New Mexico State?
I think it is. Obviously getting to play in the Swamp is really exciting, playing an SEC team like that. You're on national television on the SEC network. You can't get much better publicity for recruiting and all those type of things as far as that goes. I think where we are right now, this is a great way for us to start. We got a lot of experience coming back last year. Almost all of our kids on offense have played a lot of football. I'm really excited about to see what Tyler can do at the quarterback position, and this will be a great test for him.
What's your depth situation, Coach? How did you come out of August practice health-wise? And depth is so important, and especially in a very humid environment like the first week of September in Florida.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Yeah, right. That's a great question. And we've been relatively healthy all through camp. I think a lot of that is a testament to our weight program. The new weight room we have has been outstanding. What Coach Decker's done in there to prepare our players to get them bigger and stronger and stay healthy. That's part of that. and maintain that through the season. We have two guys, one offensive lineman, one defensive lineman, Thomas McGuire and Cortland Busby, that will not make the trip. They'll be ready for next week. Both had some slight knee injuries, nothing serious. But other than that, we're at full speed. We've got everybody healthy, ready to go. We're going to be able to redshirt a lot more kids this year than what we've been able to do in the past, which that's going to make our program healthier down the road too. And a lot of that's because of the depth issue that you mentioned. You know, we've got more players on scholarship this year than we've ever had. We're back up to competitive with the numbers of scholarships, so it's providing us the opportunity to redshirt kids and have a little bit more depth.
What do you, I mean, obviously the offense that you're running, we've talked about like Tyler being able to be more comfortable back there. What do you tell him though, just like mentally as he approaches this season, like to kind of take the pressure, whatever pressure was on him from last year?
Yeah, you know, there's a really thin line when you're coaching a quarterback about you know, protecting the football and playing too cautious. You know, you want him to be aggressive. You want him to go out and make plays. Tyler's a guy that can do that with his legs and his arm, and certainly want to see him not back down. I just want to see him make good decisions out there. You know, if he throws an interception because a receiver tips a ball up in the air, or he throws one because a defensive back just made an outstanding play, that's going to happen. What I don't want to see is the bad decision, you know, throwing it into double coverage or throwing it to a place where you're not supposed to even be looking. I just want to see him manage the game a little bit better.
I think that, you know, Florida's going through some transition or whatever with their coaching staff, so maybe that could be an advantage for you. But what's it been like trying to get ready for them? I mean, coaching staffs from Mississippi State, Colorado State, all over. How have you gotten ready for this?
Yeah, there's some unknowns. Jason, obviously, you know, we looked at offensively. Their coordinator came from Michigan, so we've looked at a lot of Michigan film. We looked at Colorado State film because that's where Coach McElwain came from. Trying to find the balance of what they will be. Don't really know. You know, we saw their spring game, but obviously everybody's very conservative in the spring game, what they're doing. Defensively, same thing. We watched Mississippi State's film because that's where their defensive coordinator came from. And we watched some of last year's Florida film just to get a sense of their talent level and those type of things. But, you know, they've got the same issues with us. You know, Coach Vance is a new defensive coordinator, and so there's nothing really for them to watch there. And my style of offense is different than what we did last year, so there's a little bit of difference there too. So it all balances out. I think the biggest thing in the first game is that we go do what we're comfortable with and what we're good at and establish an identity on both sides of the ball for our own team.
What do they do on defense, scheme-wise? Like, what are you expecting at least? Like,
Yeah, well, if it's like Mississippi State, and they're a very sound defensive team, they do a lot of different things coverage-wise that are very subtle. They give you a lot of two-deep looks, but then we'll roll it up to a middle field safety and roll one corner up from one side or the other. So there's some real subtle things that they do that are different. They will jump into an odd front occasionally, you know, instead of 4 down, it's 3 down. To throw you off, and they've got a nice pressure package that they brought. I thought, watching Mississippi State's defense, they were really well coached. I just thought that was a really well coached defense, and I'm sure it'll be the same at Florida.
Tyler said that they didn't blitz a whole lot. Is that kind of
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say that they are a pressure team, but they're really good at bringing them when they need to or when they want to, and there's not really a tendency on where they bring pressures either. You know, they're very good down the red zone last year at Mississippi State. You know, again, I think they were really, really well coached.
Coach, is there any kind of an advantage with a team playing a team like Florida now, just because they have, like you said, they haven't really had a chance to establish their identity under the new coach?
Yeah, I think that's very fair. I mean, they're only going to get better as the year goes on. So I certainly don't want to be playing them game 7 or 8 because by then, I'll promise you, with Coach McElwain's history and that staff he's put together, they, like I say, they will be light years better, and they're going to be good in this game, but they'll be light years better as the year goes on. So, yeah, I think if you're going to play them, this is probably the best time.
Their offense, I mean, he was a great offensive coach at Colorado State and, you know, wherever he's been before, so it seems like they're kind of working out things at quarterback. I don't know, last year, the LSU, I remember the LSU game, you guys turned them over early on in that game. Like, you know, how do you match up with their offense, I guess?
Well, you know, again, the speed is what worries you when you play a team like Florida. You know, they've got tremendous skilled players. They are replacing a lot of guys up front in the offensive line. You mentioned the quarterbacks, probably going to face 2 quarterbacks. But, when you look at us, we were not good at stopping the run last year. So until we prove that we can play against the run, that's what we're going to get from everybody. So I fully anticipate that they're going to line up and see if they can knock us off the football, and if they can, then they're going to have a great day, because then the play-action pass becomes effective and all those type of things that you'd like to do with a young quarterback to help them. So that the issue is about us more than it is them. Are we going to be better this year at stopping the run? And like I say, I don't anticipate us going out there and being able to shut the run down, but we've got to play more competitive and better than what we did last year.
What's the attitude of the sophomores, all those freshmen that you had to play last year? What are they looking forward to?
Yeah, I think obviously last year's experience, we played 22 freshmen last year, so those guys got a lot of experience. They really wore down as the season went on last year because they just physically weren't ready to play, but we had no choice at that time. But now you're looking at guys like Larry Rose that's 15 pounds heavier, Stody Bradley's 15 pounds heavier, Rodney Butler's probably about 20 pounds heavier at linebackers, playing about 235 right now. So I think those guys are coming in this with a lot more confidence, a lot more experience. Even though they're still young, they've got a lot of experience. I think they're just excited about playing with the new bodies, that they have, for lack of a better term. We look like a different football team. And we're still going to have to play a lot of freshmen, but they're not going to play as prominent a role as what they did last year. There'll be a lot of backups and a few guys that will start.
Coach, you think about the preparation for playing in the swamp, that atmosphere, what that might be like for these kids. Some of these kids are playing their first games, a few of them.
Yeah, the biggest thing is the noise factor. It's hard to use the snap count in a lot of situations there, so you have to work on that, and we've done that extensively. But we've kind of been in this before. I don't know if there's a mid-major in the country that's played the schedule we had the last 2 years. We've played Texas, UCLA, Boston College, Minnesota, and LSU. So that's pretty much everybody but the Green Bay Packers in 2 years. So it's not like we haven't been in this atmosphere before. But we do have some freshmen that be the first time hitting this one.
Coach, your two kickers, punter, both top of the depth chart are freshmen. Can you talk a little bit about them and what you're expecting out of them?
Yeah, I think Parker Davidson, our kicker, we're really excited about. When we recruited Parker, he was the third-ranked kicker in the country, and he's come in and he has not disappointed. He's been very effective with field goals. I think he's got a lot of range. He really gets the ball, gets off his foot in a hurry, and he's been really solid. He's really much better on kickoffs, too, than what we've had around here in the past. He's able to get the ball in the end zone, which certainly helps your coverage teams. He's really good at placing the ball, which helps your coverage teams, and we haven't had that. Now, saying all that, he's going to have his first kick at Florida on national TV, so, I mean, it may go up in row 15, the first one, but we'll go through the growing pains with him because he does have a lot of talent, and I think he can be really good. The punter situation is still a little bit up in the air for us. We got 2 guys that are competing there. Torres is a young man that transferred in from eastern New Mexico, has a little bit more experience, and he might be a little bit ahead right now as far as the punting goes, but we'll still evaluate those guys as this week goes on.
Will both of those guys pick, maybe?
Yeah, they're both going to travel, and obviously if one of them is struggling, we can try the other, and hopefully that won't be the case. Hopefully one of them will take the job and run with it here, though.
How's the overall psyche of the team? Everybody's excited you finally get to a game week.
Yeah,
That routine of game week.
Right. We're probably where everybody else is. You get where you're tired of beating on each other. You need to go play a game, and you do reach a point where you're not going to get any better until you go play somebody else, and we're there, just like everybody else in the country. But yeah, I do think there's a different mentality around our football program. There's a different energy around our football program. And that's been building from last year as we've been able to recruit more kids from winning high school programs and develop this program. And then, as I mentioned, with Mario coming in, the energy he's brought and the stuff, the stadium campaign for the first home game, which has gone really well. I think there's a lot of excitement just around football right now. And I think people are expecting things from us, and I think our players are expecting things from themselves. They're not really worried about what the recent history has been here. They're more worried about what they can do, and I think they're excited. I think they're confident. I really like the heartbeat of our football team. I think they've got a lot to play for and a lot to prove. And again, we've got a long way to go, but I tell you what, we've come a long way in 2 years, and I think it's exciting to see how far we can get to this season.
You've got a lot of young kids. Obviously, the improvements around here have really allowed you to step up and recruit that higher level.
Yeah, I tell you, the facilities have enabled us to really recruit well. When you look at the weight room and the field, and now the skybox is going in the stadium, and future plans for the locker room, we got a great gift from the Allen family for that. What Royal Jones has done for our football program, not only with the weight room, but the equipment truck that we're using now, and those type of things. There's so many great things happening here. It's an easy sell in recruiting. It really is. If we get a young man and his parents to come here and visit, we have a great chance of getting them, because people just haven't seen this place, and when they come and they see it, they're absolutely shocked about what is here. I mean, you've got an engineering school here, you've got a medical school that's getting ready to open up here. This university has a lot to offer. This town has a lot to offer. One of the best stadiums in the Sun Belt Conference. I heard that from every Sun Belt coach that came in here last year, that they were just amazed at the stadium and the potential that was here. So all of that has helped us recruit really well, and I do think we've knocked it out of the park the last 2 years in recruiting, Bill. I really do. I thought last year's class was really good, obviously led by Larry Rose, but I really think the class we brought in this year is even better. I think we've got more size, more length, especially on the defensive side. The defensive linemen that we signed, I really think those guys could play anywhere in the Sun Belt, and we've certainly helped ourselves. Realistically, we need one more class to get this program where we really want it to be, but I think we certainly have enough here to where we can be competitive and win football games.
Are there any more questions for Coach Martin?
All right, guys, thank you.
See you then, Coach.
Yes. Next, we'll have Talbert Morgan. You come up this way.
Keller, getting ready to start the season off. How excited are you about this season? What are you looking forward to in game one?
I'm very excited. I've been injured for a while, so it's been a long time since I've been back on the field, but I got back here and for camp, and I've been doing great, better than I was last year, and I've been putting in a lot of work, so I'm very excited for the first game. I think it's a test to see what I can do, and I'm up for these awards and that I really want to win, so I've been putting in the work for it, and I'm ready for it, and it's going to be a good atmosphere out there.
What's the biggest, from a team standpoint, what's the biggest difference between last year going into the first week and this year's team?
I think the biggest thing that changed is the energy of the team. Last year, we was playing a smaller school, Cal Poly, and you could say that we was prepared, but it was just we didn't have many people on the same level. Is what I mean. This year, I think it's a lot different because the energy and we're more of a band of brothers. We're a team, and I think the pace of practice changed, the mentality of the players changed, and I feel like everybody just going out there to fight what we believe in, and we knowing that's being a great team.
I know that, like you mentioned, the individual things that you're up for. And I know that you follow college football. I mean, what do you think about, Hargreaves, the corner that they have? Do you know anything about him? He's like.
Well, from watching ESPN.
These individual matchups, like.
Yeah, I do. It's actually a test to see what I can do, but I watch ESPN all the time, and I know that he's the best cornerback in in the NCAA. But I also think Winston Rose is good. So me going against Winston is a matchup also. I did my research on Hargreaves, and I think, well, I know for a fact that he's a good player, and I'm really looking forward to that, to see what I can do against him. I really haven't had that much of, of reps against players like him, but I feel that Winston put me in that caliber to be good against him. Yeah.
From a team standpoint, like going up against Florida in the first game and then you come back here for Georgia State, I mean, is this a good way to measure like where you guys are at as an offense?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, just seeing where we stand at with them. But personally, to me, I want to go out there and win, and I feel like we have the heart and soul to do that. But seeing where we at with these guys and the SEC team, and Florida's been fast and bigger players, seeing what we can do against them would be good. But going into the Georgia State game, I think we'll be more confident after the Florida game.
How's Tyler progressed from last year to this year?
I think Tyler progressed big. I mean, he's making smarter reads than what he was doing. He's using his check downs. He's getting the ball out faster, and he's always in the film room. I always see him in the film room trying to perfect his craft. And I think he'll be ready. He's more confident than I ever seen him just by talking with him.
What do you think of the Florida defense overall?
It might be the hardest defense we play all year, but I think them guys played together as a whole. But I'm really not sure until I get out there. We just gonna have to adapt to what their scheme is. I know they got a new defensive coordinator. I think the biggest thing is adapting to that, because I'm not sure how they're going to play right now based off recent film.
You put some numbers up before the LSU game, and then, I don't know, it seemed like they paid a lot of attention to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did that game kind of, like, alert you that you're going to be the guy that these defenses go, prepared for every week? Like, was that a turning point for you?
Well, honestly, I think every game, but I think LSU was the game. It was an SEC game, and they saw what I could do against a bigger school compared to the smaller schools in the Sun Belt, 4A. But yeah, I think that was the game. I'm pretty sure most teams are going to come after me, but I'm not thinking of it like that. I'm just playing the game and see how it turns out.
You guys do anything special to combat cramping in a real humid environment? Drink pickle juice or anything like that?
No, I'm from the East Coast, so Maryland is kind of humid too. Hopefully I'll be used to it. I'm kind of used to the heat out here, but it's just adapting to it. Just drinking a lot of water and taking care of your body, eating a lot of fruits, just to get prepared for that type of weather.
Any more questions for Todrick? Thank you, Todrick.
All right. Thank you.
Next up, we'll have Rodney Butler.
What's the biggest challenge that you've seen on film that Florida brings? Coach talked a lot about speed.
Oh yeah, definitely. We see that their coaches are going to utilize all their players' speed and their athletic abilities and everything. They're going to utilize their running backs' ability. The new coach that they got putting in the offense that he's coming from Colorado State, I think is really. They're really going to use that to their running back's ability, his ability to cut back, his speed and everything. And the biggest thing is for us to stop the run.
How did just that last year playing in this type of environment and getting through a whole season, yourself and the freshmen, you know, the younger players that are now secondary players, like, do you feel more confident going into a first game than maybe compared to last year?
I feel like overall the whole team is definitely a lot more confident than last season. Just coming together, just reassuring each other that we play for each other is a big boost in our confidence.
And Rodney, as far as talking about their quarterbacks, I know they're probably going to use two guys. I mean, does it make a lot of difference to you guys which one is out there? Or do you know more about one than the other?
We're obviously going to game plan for both. We do see that one is they do have a running quarterback, a throwing quarterback, so they're going to utilize both, especially since the first game. The first game they're going to go out there, see what they have, and see what works best for them. And we're just going to throughout the week, we're going to prepare for both quarterbacks, prepare for what they're going to bring.
From a depth standpoint, do you feel better about stopping the run this year than last year? I mean, it just seemed like there was a handful of guys this year. It seems like there's more that are going to play every week.
Oh, definitely. We're going into this game with a rotation mindset that basically a lot of people are going to get in and play. We know that it's going to be key, especially going down there to Florida with the humidity, that getting fresh bodies on the field is going to be important.
What do you think the biggest threat is going to be from Florida?
Biggest threat is that they're going to try to attack us on the run, and basically utilizing their quarterbacks, seeing what they have. You know, a deep ball, short passes. We know that they like to push their tight ends to the flat, run slants behind them. So they're going to try to attack us there. Utilize the running back and his speed, putting him behind the offensive line, knowing that we've had in the past trouble with the run.
Tell us about Coach Vance.
Coach Vance, he's installed, I would say, a new mindset to our defense, to where he has a saying, we're gonna play the next play no matter what happens, good or bad, and a sense of brotherhood on the defense, to where we know that no matter what happens, that somebody is gonna have our back, that whether it's in rotation or the players that's on the field with you at that moment. And he kind of pushes us past football to be better people and better men. And I think everybody on the defense really appreciates what he's doing for us.
What's the biggest change year over year, schematically, for your defense, would you say?
Schematically, from this season to last season, I don't feel like there's a big change, but personnel-wise, there will be a change utilizing what we have on the field. Like I said, the rotation, we're going to put in people for their strengths.
Are there any more questions for Rodney? Thank you, Rodney.
Thank you.
While we have him here, we'd like to bring up Mario Mocha, the athletic director at New Mexico State. Mario will be happy to answer any questions. One of the things we want to have him speak about today as well Earlier this morning, the Sun Belt Conference announced Coastal Carolina would be accepted into the conference. And Mario, if you'd like to get started, we'll first address that and then we'll open it up.
Yeah, I don't know if the statement's gone out, but I'll regurgitate what I said in the statement a little bit. Obviously, our primary goal with the interest in the Sun Belt Conference was to solidify the sport of football in an FBS conference in perpetuity. Currently, we're an affiliate member. We've done 1 year. We've got 3 more years under contract. After this season, the conference has the ability or will review us, and that's a little ambiguous. It doesn't, you don't really know exactly what that means, if they're going to review and tell you something, if they're going to review and just say, hey, we reviewed you and we reserve our, your future will be determined later. So that's the situation right now. Of course, we've been very open and forthcoming with that. That's our primary goal, is to get our football conference, our football team in a conference for the long haul. It didn't happen with this iteration, but we know that there might be some other possibilities out there. And, we're just going to take it day by day, control what we can control, whether that's getting a lot of people in the stadium for the first game, whether that's recruiting, getting bigger, stronger, faster, or whether that's continue to upgrade the facilities like the East Side Suite, football locker room renovation that'll happen after this year. So that's the statement, and take any questions that you have.
Speaking of the first game, how's the response been? We had the basketball, bed game.
Yeah.
Now we're doing the football.
Response has been tremendous. We've got a little less than 4,000 tickets to go. We've got, 9 days before kickoff. So I'm very confident, and I'm very thankful to the committee. We had over 40 businessmen and women around on our sales team, and they've been spending their time and their effort making sales calls, getting businesses around the region to use those tickets. And when a company just wants to donate them, we've been very good about getting those in the hands of individuals who are excited to get them. Elementary school kids, Boys and Girls Clubs. So I'm very pleased with where we are. First Light Federal Credit Union has come on board as the game sponsor for that game, and they've got a lot of exciting things as well to offer. So I just think it's important, whereas it was nice to kind of say we did it in basketball and have a culmination of the 4 seniors and everything they did throughout their careers. This is something we want to start the season off with so we can get a nice bounce after this game. You certainly hope you're successful on the field, and then you can go into Texas El Paso, which is usually a good crowd, and maybe make it a great crowd and hopefully get some momentum into October.
On the field important to maybe proving to be lock up a Sun Belt membership down the line, or whatever conference it may be for football?
Sure. I think it's pretty critical. Doug and I spoke about this. You can't sugarcoat it. You can't talk around the situation. We have to be successful in the sport of football. I think you have a head coach and a staff that's committed to doing that, committed to recruiting the right guys, committed to getting freshmen and training them. We've got a tremendous strength coach in Coach Decker. We've got a phenomenal weight room, Coca-Cola Weight Center, made possible by huge donation from Royal Jones, Samson equipment, some of the state-of-the-art stuff. So that kind of stuff. A tremendous gift from the Allen family that we announced several months ago to completely renovate the football locker room. So when I talk about what we can control, Doug and the guys can control what goes on in the field to some extent. We can control how much energy we're going to put into getting big crowds into the stadium, renovating the critical facilities which help in recruiting, those kinds of things.
Do you still have, after this, did it kind of make you more open to other options? I don't know what conference movement is going on there.
Sure. Well, a lot of it's going to be waiting till the music starts in the musical chairs game and see what opens up. While we were disappointed to get the news. It was certainly not a shock. I think everybody involved, even individuals from the conference, have been very open about how important geography was, and we all knew that that was kind of working against us in this. So our job is to simply, make ourselves valuable to our current league in the sport of football, and then if the musical chairs start again, whether it's the Big 12 or you name it, and there's some spots that open up that we can look and be an attractive candidate to another league.
How did you, I don't know how these things work, how did you find out yesterday?
Yeah, I actually got a call from my boss, what was it, late Sunday evening? He got a call from the commissioner, so that's how I found out pretty late on Sunday evening.
Do you think the WAC will look to add other teams to make that league more secure?
When we last met, we did have a conversation about potential expansion. We didn't delve into it too much. I think lost in all this is, a lot of people ask, was it awkward with the Western Athletic Conference and the Sun Belt? We've been very clear with our desire to lock up the sport of football for many years now. My boss always reminds me of that. But we are pleased that the rest of our sports are in a strong conference, Western Athletic Conference. As with any other school, you're always going to look for or be open to other potential opportunities to strengthen, your institution. But we are pleased that we're in the WAC, and then we'll see what the future holds with possible expansion of that conference. Anything else?
This might be a little off topic, but the university just announced they're going to be doing bag checks at football games.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think in this day and age, the importance of safety is critical, especially in light of world events and current events in our community. So I think while there may be a little bit of a delay, I think our fans certainly understand the need for safety of all of our patrons, and I anticipate that they'll take the steps to while it may be something a little bit different, that they'll accept that, and I think they'll see it as a good thing and a positive thing, so they can enjoy the game in safety and comfort. And we just remind everybody, whether it's parking, traffic flow, bag checks, try to come a little early. We know everybody wants to tailgate, but that's kind of our message, is to get in the game 5 or 10 minutes early, see the pregame show, video board, band, things like that. So while that's a little bit of a change, I think it'll be a welcome change.
I saw the release on the affiliates across the state or whatever. TV though, that's not still.
Yeah, TV, we're still, those guys at Learfield Sports, New Mexico State Sports Properties, they kind of got thrown in a blender about 3 weeks before a game and said, hey, we haven't done much, so you guys do everything now. They did lock up a large portion of our radio affiliates, even though I know that they're looking for other opportunities statewide. While I'm sure they will put out a release soon, I can tell you that some of our partners with Comcast, obviously Aggie Vision producing the games, but Comcast, Fox Sports Arizona, Fox Sports Southwest, those things are being put together right now. I know we released that our first game will be on the SEC network, so everybody will be able to watch that. But I think in short order, we'll announce our TV schedule and all the affiliates, region and nationwide, that the games will be able to be seen on. And from what I've seen so far, I think people will be impressed. And I think it's tremendous that not just locally, but certainly with all of our alums in the regional footprint and nationally, we'll be able to watch our games. And obviously that's a great connection back to the institution, just to keep those alums that maybe have strayed a little bit out of the borders of New Mexico close to what's going on with our team and our institution.